Hello everybody. Today we have a little bit of a different mission. We're going to do a laptop repair. Um, the laptop back behind me here is owned by a young lady that had a Mountain Dew fall off a shelf, came down, hit the keyboard, and immediately the laptop stopped working. Unfortunately, the keyboard isn't still in perfect condition, but unfortunately for her, directly below where the Mountain Dew landed was the hard drive, and it was your old style with spinning platters in it. This laptop that we've got here is a Toshiba Satellite L55T, has an i3 processor, 6 gigs of RAM, and it did have a 1 terabyte hard drive in it until it got whacked. The heads got stuck on the platter, and since my thoughts were to get rid of this slow, stupid I hate these hard drives, these slow hard drives, and get a solid state drive in there to make it a lot quicker. We did something that you should never do. I took the hard drive apart and got the heads unstuck off the platter of the disk, but unfortunately, it seems like what happened is the actuator arm itself got damaged, and the heads won't actually go back onto the platters. Once they're in their parked position, they won't go back on the platter. So unfortunately, a Mountain Dew caused her to lose all of her data. She had nothing backed up, and I have no way to recover this. And it's not worth sending it in to pay hundreds of dollars for data recovery. There wasn't anything that important on it to be able to have to spend that kind of money. So, as you can tell, it's back up and running. I got a solid state drive in it. I got a PNY 240 gig drive. Popped Windows 10 back on it that it had on it, and it's running good. So, what do we got left to do today? This thing has another issue. As you can see right here, oops, get you to the right side. That's not quite what it's supposed to look like. This is the hinge piece that's supposed to be in there. This is the part that mounts on the bottom, and it sets like this to open and close. Poor design. I'll show you once we got it taken apart exactly what I'm talking about. But let me flip you around here. I'm going to shut the laptop down, turn it over, and we can start taking the bottom off of this, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, so this is the bottom of the laptop here. It just has a few screws to remove. Two back here that hold the battery on. And that will come off, and those do have to be removed to take the battery out, and it also holds the case down. I'm going to move the rest of these here real quick, and then we can pop the case off. This one right here, by the way, holds your DVD player in also, and I'm going to set that off to the side so we don't hurt it, and I'll get the rest of them taken out real quick. All out. So really all I have to do is just kind of start lifting up on one point, and the whole thing will lift right off. Set that off to the side. And here is where this hinge used to go, right here. Now, this side here, the mounting points for these sides here are still okay. I'm going to take this off so I can show you the plate there real quick. Underneath, there's a steel plate that sets down in here that gives it a little bit of rotational force to be applied. One of the hinge or cover screws goes into there to help hold it down. But underneath, all you've got are these little, don't know if you can see that there. But see, there are those little metal pieces that are set into plastic rounds, and if one of those breaks off, then the whole mounting point will come off. So I'm going to set this back down here to keep it in place. Or am I? Did I get it upside down? Yeah, I'll put that back on in a second. But anyways, to take this screen off, I've got to take this off. I'm going to have to take these out. Let's get this cable out of the way here. Let's pop that loose. This just pulls right out. This I'm going to have to pull out a little bit so it'll come loose. And that, well, that's a power connector. I didn't have to take that loose. This right here, your Wi-Fi. Just put the screw right back in place. That can come, oh, that's why I took this out, because it's up under that cable. There we go. And you know what? That power just comes out, so I'm going to set that off to the side. So those are all the cables on this side that are loose. Over on this side, I do have a couple of cables too. I'm going to lift this up out of the way so I don't have anything in the way there. Follow those cables up, and it looks like one follow those on through. There's another cable right there. Come on out. There we go. You gotta be careful with these. Okay, one of them is right here. So I'm gonna remove that. There we go. And the other one is this one right here for your video. Okay, got that. So, no cables in the way there, no cables in the way there. What I need to do now is remove these. And then this, actually, you know, let me do this. Let me put these back in there real quick. And I'm going to rotate that screen up just a little bit, because I think I'm going to need to for this to come off. There we go. Let's that hinge bend. And I'm going to have to kind of hold the whole assembly here in place. How it's dropping down out of the way right there. There we go. There we go. Now, there's the body of the laptop out of the way, and we are left with the screen. One side with a hinge, one side without. Okay, so this bezel on the outside edge here actually comes off pretty easily. All you've got to do, if you don't have a spudger, really just kind of get your fingernails worked in there. And you'll find a corner and just start popping that up. Run your fingers along it gently, because this is your glass also. There you go. And then there's that screen. This is your connector here for your digitizer. And while this is off, it's a good idea to clean front and back of it gently. Be careful of the stuff on the back. You've got some of your little components like this that might try to come off. Just make sure they're back in place, and we'll get to that before we put it back in. But see how these are done? Do you see these two big screws right here? That's what this was right here. You notice when I set this one back up in here, there's nothing for it to attach to. That's because up under here, let's just go ahead and take that hinge off and I'll show you. Oh, this is got that captive piece on the side here. Never mind, I'm not going to take that whole thing off. But up underneath it, just like on the inside hinges, there are these tiny little metal inserts that go into these small little plastic bits. You screw your screw into the metal bit and it's just press fit into the plastic piece. And you've only got those two little screws and this puny little arm that comes up along the side here that's supposed to add strength of some sort, but it doesn't. So look over on this side and you'll see, got a screw stick in my screwdriver, right there and right there, I believe, are spots where your round pieces of plastic used to be that your metal parts went into for your hinge. There's nothing there anymore. So how in the world are we going to mount this back into there? Well, we're going to use a little bit of ingenuity and rig something up. Basically, here's what we're going to do. This is elevated up just a hair because of the little pieces that are of plastic there. What I'm going to do is just get some small plastic washers, which I think I have some out in my garage in my little extra parts bin, set up under there. We're going to drill this out. We're going to put this here. We're going to bolt it right on in using these that are going to stick out the other side. And then if I really want to, I can take my Dremel tool, cut this off flat. I can take and put some Loctite or something on this so that this doesn't come loose. And we're going to clamp this back in place with some screws. Now, on this side, as I look at it, one of these pieces is already starting to break loose as well. So we've got to be careful with that. I'm going to see if I can take some JB Weld in any way and strengthen this. I don't know that we're going to be able to. I'm going to have to take this entire piece off here to do it. So, not sure. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this screen out. There are just 4 little screws that hold it in place. And most any LCD panel is mounted like this too. Okay. And I've got to unwind it from the little cable holder here. And we're also going to set that aside so that we're just left with our plastic piece. Now, you're going to ask, why don't I just get another one of these? Because they're freaking expensive. Most places I found wanted over $100 for this little stupid piece of plastic. I found one online for about 30 or 40 bucks plus $10 shipping. Guys, we're talking about an i3 processor here. It's not worth it. So we're going to rig this up and make it work. I'm going to take this the rest of the way off here. There we go. I don't need to take this out completely. I just need to move it out of the way. See, there we go. It just kind of swings on that screw up there. This is in the way. I may take it out completely. I'm not sure. We're going to drill through that. I'm going to take my JB weld. Now that I have this off, I can look up under it. One of those pieces of plastic is trying to come loose. But I've got a whole bunch of area underneath it there. See, if you look around this, there's area for me to build it up and help reattach that. So I think I might super glue this in place and then JB weld around it to help build it up. So, get back to you when we get that kind of sort of done, and we'll see how it looks. All right, I've got some epoxy on this. That area underneath this screw, I super glued that piece back on, and then I epoxied this whole section here with JB weld. Now I've got to clean this area up here. I've got my drill bit here. My points that it goes into are pretty easy to see. And I'm just going to drill right through. This is not going to be a pretty fix, like I said. We're not looking... I'm trying to make a video here and somebody's hungry and wants to eat, so they're getting out the baking stone.
I'm sorry.
You know, this is what happens when you're doing for repairs. At home, though, you run into this. And that's the whole idea. We're trying to do something on the cheap at home so that you don't have to spend a fortune having to repair something like this. And you can have something, you can extend the life of something that may not have been usable anymore. So anyway, I got my holes drilled. Isn't it pretty? Now let's see if my bolts actually fit through there, my screws. And look at that. You'd almost think I've done something like this before. Not to a laptop, but I've jury-rigged a lot of stuff up that I didn't want to spend a fortune on fixing. So I got creative. You know, this is America. We're supposed to be getting creative and fixing stuff here, so that's what I'm doing. Now, okay, got that out. I gotta hope. I think that will be enough. I've just got these little lock washers here. And I'm gonna put that over each one of these, and I think that will be just enough standoff on there underneath the hinge part. Actually, that goes under here. I think that'll be just enough of a standoff. So let me mount that, you know, high enough off, because it's not like right down on the plastic. It's up off of it just a hair. I gotta clean up the area around it where it goes into, though. As you can see these little bits of plastic. So I'm gonna get all of that stuff off real quick, and then all these little bits of plastic here around where the screw is going into. I'm gonna clean up some of that real quick, and we'll be right back to you. Okay, I've got my area cleaned up there, and I've got these things here that are sticking to my screwdriver. I've got those, well, did have them sitting in place until that one stuck to my screwdriver. So let's see, where's my other little bolt? I need to set those down on top of this. See if I can help it along there. Okay, that way. There, it holds itself in place nicely enough. Actually, this comes in handy here to make sure that I've got it in the right spot. Now my only concern is how much this sticks up right here. I don't know if that head on these screws are going to stick up so much or not. If they do, what I may end up having to do, that does stick up a good bit. Actually, it's not as bad on this side as I thought it would be. What I may end up having to do is take those spacers out from under there and let this sit further down so it recesses this. So really kind of sort of I need to put this on the laptop and see if everything lines up. I need to, let's see, let me set my screen here. I know my screen's going to be okay. Yeah, that looks alright. You know, actually now that the screen is in there, I might be able to get that in. Let me, oven's ready. Let's put these back in. Thank you for taking this journey with me here. May have to do some heavy editing. I didn't say this would be quick. So I'm going to finish putting these screws in, and I'm going to test fit that. I'm going to clean off all this stuff and then test fit that digitizer panel back in place. So check this out. Everything went back together. There is a little bit of a gap right there. If you look at that there, it does want to stand off a little bit. I don't think that's going to cause a problem though. We're going to put it back on and see. As long as it closes properly, I think we will be in good shape. So let me get the body of the laptop back over here, and we will mount all of this in place and see what we can see. I'll get right back to you here. Alright, check this out. We have hinges at work. I'm going to turn the laptop over for a second. And we have hinges at work. Look, it stays in place. That is awesome. I'm still going to have the owner be very careful with this and make sure not to put any pressure on this right here, because there is a bit of a gap right there and it could crack that screen if you're too rough with it. I gotta clean this up over here because I made a mess, but that's okay. It was in pretty rough shape to begin with. So I'm going to put all these cables back in place here. Reroute my video cable. Let's set that on there. And before I plug that in, I'm going to kind of set it off to the side. This I think this thin one needs to go first, so we'll put that through there first. Be patient when you're rerouting these. You want to take your time and make sure to do it right. These connections are very small, can tear easily, so you do want to be gentle with them. There we go. Push that in firmly. There's the 2 RAM chips. There's a 4 gig and that must be a 2 gig. So we're going to put this back here. Get in there, there you go. That is in. Route this back up through here. This is our digitizer connection. Get in there. Man, this is being a little bit of a pain right here. Anyway, I'm going to get these connections done. I'll be right back. Alright, I got all that back in. That wasn't supposed to go there. That's for the power connector. And you guys sit there and watch me try to do that too. It didn't say anything. Shame on you guys. Okay. I'm going to set this back in place because this is actually easier to slide in now than if you wait. Clamp it all back down. Let's get all of our screws back in. Which I'm not going to make you sit and watch. Let's put the battery one back in though. That slides in. And the screws go back in. This corner wants to pop up because of the hard drive in there. There's like a little rubber piece that goes over the hard drive that makes it want to stick up until you put that in. Okay, I'm going to finish putting the back on and then we'll come right back. And there we have it. A laptop that is restored to usability again with hinges that actually work. The girl that owns this, had just left it open and leaned up against the wall basically. Because of the one hinge that was broken. We don't have the little hinge cover that goes on there, but I don't really care about that. I'm going to have to tell her to be careful with it, open it nicely and gently. She probably actually won't ever close it. She just leaves it in one spot in her bedroom. And I think this might actually bump up on that start button there. I'm not sure because it just turned on and I didn't tell it to. But we have a usable laptop again. The hinges work. The screen stays where we put it. And it's up and running. So, there you have it. We have screws through the corner of a laptop. And we have a functional laptop with hinges that work again. Might not be the most beautiful thing on the planet. But it was free. And that was the goal. To get this girl a working laptop without spending a fortune doing it because she had no money to spend on it and was slightly in panic mode. And I said I would find a way to make it work for her. So if you can get away anything out of this, just the idea, what you want to get out of it is think outside the box. Sometimes if you can't replace a part and it's an insignificant part, make it work. You know, sometimes you just gotta use your noggin there. So, hope you got something out of this. Talk to you guys later.